No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit in a government yard in train stand, observing the hypocrites as they thought maybe the good people we met. Good friends you had, good friends you lost along the way. In this great future you can't forget your past, so wipe your tears, I say. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Oh, my little sister, please shed no tears. I said no, no woman, no cry. 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 Said I remember when we used to sit in a government yard in train stand, and then judges would make the firelight as the rose long were burning through the night. Then people may come in porridge we to share with you. Nothing is my only carriage as I just push on through. Everything's gonna be alright. 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 Send a woman, no trouble.
Hello and a very good evening to each and everyone again. Today we are lined up at the 5th webinar of Weddingsdegoa that we have scheduled on every Friday at 9 p.m. Today we have with us very special boys. They are called the Noronha Brothers, all the way from Aldona, and I'm sure we will definitely see what is their insights, how the band began, what is their journey into the music industry, and how do they inspire the youth. Welcome, Nivan and Nikhil. A very warm welcome to you from Weddingsdegoa.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so Nikhil and Nivan, if you could walk us through your journey, tell us something about your experience in the music field. How did the band start? Your story to the entire crowd watching this live webinar.
We started off learning music when we were pretty small. I was in the 3rd standard and Nikhil was in the 4th. I wanted to learn the guitar at first, but since I was too small, started off with the violin later on. And as we grew up, Nikhil could play songs and I could play melodies, since keyboard had accompaniments and all those things. So gradually we started playing together. So he would play all the backing music and I would play the melody, and we'd alternate the instruments. So he could take on with fill-ins and intros, and I could do the main, instead of singing the melody part on the violin. That's how it started.
I always wanted to learn the keyboard, so I always took on the keyboard from the beginning. So then we took on with the classes, we started learning, and it always went on with the learning, and then took on with some competitions, and as we learned songs and all. Then when was it? In eighth and ninth standard was then we started performing in hotels as a public duo. That was the first time we went on in hotels. So that's when the journey started.
Yeah. Actually, it started before that, when we started playing for our guests and relatives.
Yeah. The family.
Yeah, there was what you can say, right at the beginning, the starting point.
Yeah.
Before we went into the commercial, professional way.
Yeah.
So that's how the Noronha Brothers duo started. That's how the journey started.
Yeah, so guys,
So,
to everyone
and-
watching out here, today we know the story behind the Noronha Brothers from Aldona. They started playing for their family members, the guests who were coming. The guests were entertained at home. At the same time, they developed their passion. And since the 8th standard, they have been performing gigs at various restaurants, also at weddings. And very important to say, these are the same guys that played for the World Goa Day at Doha, Qatar. So Noronha Brothers are quite experienced in the music, and especially they can play different kinds of instruments. Guys, could you share up some light on that, on the different instruments that you play?
Well, I started off with the violin, but after I finished with my 8th grade in the violin from Trinity School of London, I went and also started with the guitar. And since then, I have been practicing guitar regularly and improving on that. I also tried my hand at the cello slightly, but I don't really play that as much. But I still do play it even live for a couple of songs. Yeah.
Great.
I started with the keyboard, and I completed the 8th grade with Trinity College of London, and then I started with the saxophone, and I'm still doing it.
Is there anyone in your family that was a music sir or a music master? Or what inspired you all to take music?
Well, not a music teacher for us, but our grandfather used to play the violin.
Okay.
Yeah, I never got to hear him play, but I guess it runs in the family. My dad is a fan of playing drums.
And huge fan of music.
Yeah, I guess that continued.
So
It runs in the blood.
can you all walk us through some of your performances that you all still cherish?
We cherish each and every performance. The thing is, what we try to do is every time we play, live or anywhere, we try to give our best. We try and give our best and try to enjoy every moment that we play, whether it's a huge crowd or it's just a couple of tables at a restaurant. So there has been hardly any gig where we have not enjoyed ourselves. But there are quite a few examples where, for example, the Qatar show was a very different experience for us because we had not played abroad before. Of course, it's the grown crowd, but it's a very special day, right? The Goa Day. And we didn't entirely know what to expect over there. But they responded very well, and that was really warming, you know.
The Noronha Brothers, if I may ask you all guys, what's the trending songs that you all feel for the 2020 season that is going on? We know that COVID has actually crippled up the weddings, but there's a playlist definitely playing at your homes as well. What's the playlist you guys are listening to right now?
It's a mixture. I listen from songs that range from country songs, which mostly are old, to metal. So it depends on when I'm listening to, but I listen to all sorts of music, including classical and Indian classical. Not a lot, but I still do try and listen to different songs.
I'm mostly a big fan of oldies, country, and also soft rock. Not much of hard rock, but soft rock. Not a big fan of the hip hop songs, but a big fan of oldies. So that's it.
Guys, do you all play Konkani songs as well? We have seen some of your performances with that as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
being Goans, we have to do
Yeah.
Konkani songs.
That's our mother tongue, so we have to play Konkani songs to make our Goan crowd happy, and it's a pleasure to play our Konkani songs.
Goichi tamari madi amanchi Ugozani amkandili madi Goichi shiragan industri Kunam kameuchi Itlo mue pasani itli azali Sadan sashi solaranik miochena Osleisha Sondirat la son sapoi da goicenda Shani ciuco vorgionieta Polo doria agenda Boga gagoto santa sobe maza Kosani Dukari Sangat Pavavule Lavani, Bonani, Goya Bale, Sobedore, Exalele, Diacotale, Oce Mati, Vaso Givi Pegone, Casa cercato la diso aizo. Mona ciampuso cagivo urtolo Uosani am candillo Subit campo anzo Bugiani am cesambalon le apuro
Nikhil and Jeevan, we would like to know what you do on your regular basis apart from playing music.
I'm into teaching music. I teach music at Kala Academy. I'm a teacher, music teacher at Kala Academy. I also take music classes at home. That's it.
Well, I am an artist, BFA. So I teach in a school in Aldona. I teach art from standard 5th to 8th. That's what I do as a job. But I also teach the violin to quite a few students.
It's pretty good to know, guys, that you all still carry your profession with passion together. How do you all manage time to get all these things done on a regular basis?
When you really want to do something, you, I guess, always make time for it, at least a little bit of it. So, and it helps that school works till sort of half day, right? Sort of. So I do have little time in the evening.
Yeah.
Or late nights is usually make time.
Yeah.
Also half day, so I will kind of find time for all the practicing and everything, whatever we like to do.
And it really helps that with just a room across, we need to practice. We don't need anyone to. We don't need to go somewhere far away. No need anyone to come. So we can practice right in a hall or anywhere we want.
Correct.
We can sit at the dining table while having lunch. We can discuss or have a discussion that otherwise would need some people to come over, or we would need to go over. Makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. Neevan and Nikhil, what advice would you give to youngsters who want to pursue music as a career in Goa? What you have to say to them?
They really like music. They should go for it and start learning music. The way to learn music is practice.
Do they have to get themselves and enroll at a young age in the music school? Or how the journey begins for everyone, for parents especially, that some of them do not know how are the different stages?
If the child shows interest, then they should try for it. At times they don't know what instrument the child may need. They still need to try with a music teacher and see what they might like. At times there are lots of students or people who learn an instrument and then move on to another instrument. That's quite natural, I'd say. That happens because as you get into music, that's when you realize what you really like. But to start off with something is, you need to do that. Age, I guess it depends on every person to person. You can't really say
How are you all
Yeah.
preparing for the post-COVID stage?
Yeah, although we play two instruments live, we don't usually get to do a lot of it because of the type of songs that you need to do live. So right now, what we are focusing on is how we can use all these instruments and come up with something that someone else, or at least we have not done before.
So right now,
Yeah.
since everything is closed, we are just experimenting what we can do with all the instruments that we have and what we can do with all the music.
The thing is, one person can't really do multiple instruments at once.
Mhm.
So we need to figure out ways and come up with stuff where we can shift between stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been working on.
Okay, guys, what's your take on a digital platform like Weddingsdegoa?
Well, as all technology brings us all closer and makes a lot of stuff easier, the Weddingsdegoa has sort of done the same thing for us. For example, in the current situation, this would have not been possible without a platform of this sort. Also, since it has different categories, let's talk about music since we do that. When someone needs some musician and they don't have as much insight in that subject, there's one platform where they can get options, then find out further.
Also good for all the people who can go on the site and look for all the stuff in one place, not go out hunting in all sort of places. So they can find all things in one site. So it's easier. Like y'all have made stuff easier for people to find
And
or to
including
organize
us,
things.
including us to get
Including
to-
us to advertise
Yes.
ourselves to people, to reach out to people, to make ourselves available to people.
What's your message to all the youth, to your fans and friends all across? So, Nikhil, if you could take this up first.
First thing is I would like to thank all our fans, our well-wishers, relatives, family, everybody for supporting us, for being there for us, for always being there for us, and we expect them to be with us, support us always. This pandemic, this is stopped, but be safe during this time so that after this situation is over, we can party hard.
I would say listen to good music.
Everyone watching out this live webinar, here we have two brothers, the Noronha Brothers from Aldona, who passionately followed their passion right from the 8th standard and are continuing to pursue. They have been performing for weddings, for gigs. They've performed at the World Goa Day in Doha, Qatar as well. And I'm sure they're going to rock all the weddings that are post-COVID lineup as well. And to all the Aldonkars who's watching this, two guys who's making the whole village of Aldona proud with their awesome music and the awesome instruments that they play. I hope and pray that every wedding couple watching this live webinar, if you are looking for a duo band, you want to perform at your wedding, here are the guys, the Noronha Brothers from Aldona. So give them a shout out. They are one call away. So thank you guys, Nikhil and Nevan, for joining us on this Weddingsdegoa Friday webinar. We'll definitely see you rock up the weddings and gigs post-COVID. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Hey, hey, hey. Mama, ground. I can't shoot it anymore. The cold black cloud is coming down. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door.